Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back, focused learners, to another deep dive right here on The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating story that, honestly, speaks directly to a problem so many of us deal with every single day. We're going to explore the core theme of finding genuine peace when you are totally trapped inside a stormy mind. The source material we're looking at gives us this incredible, super practical visualization of how to cure mental restlessness. And the wild part? It all revolves around a deceptively simple object, a single glass of water.
So, does your mind ever feel like a relentless storm of past regrets and future worries? It's a pretty heavy question, isn't it? But man, is it deeply relatable. In our source material today, this perfectly mirrors the exact reality of our story's main subject. His name is Marco. He's a 24-year-old guy living in a small village surrounded by mountains, and he was completely caught in this exact mental storm.
Section 1. The Restless Mind. A Storm of Thoughts.
And this brilliantly illustrates what Marco was going through. As a young guy, he really should have been full of energy, right? But instead, Marco was constantly exhausted, just permanently uneasy. His mental energy was entirely split down the middle. On one side, he was burdened by sadness about the past, and on the other, he was paralyzed by worry about the future. There was absolutely zero room left for the present. The sheer weight of balancing past regrets and future anxieties made his mind feel like an absolute tempest.
This relentless overthinking brought on some really exhausting symptoms. He couldn't feel calm, he couldn't sleep well, he literally forgot how to smile. Just think about the heavy psychological weight of that reality for a second. The physical and emotional toll of living in a state where your brain just simply will not turn off. It's totally unsustainable, and Marco knew, without a doubt, that he needed to find a cure.
Section 2. Seeking the Wise Psychologist. A Journey for a Cure. So, driven by this urgent, desperate need for relief, Marco embarks on a journey. And we're talking a long, tiring trek spanning many days to a faraway village up in the hills. He's looking for a wise old man, but not just any village elder. This guy used to be a famous psychologist working right in the middle of a bustling city, spending his whole life helping people find peace. But as he grew older, he left that loud, chaotic city life behind and retreated to this quiet village. He lived close to nature in a small house covered in beautiful greenery, just occasionally giving advice to folks who sought him out.
When Marco finally arrives, he finds this old man sitting on his porch, eyes gently closed, just radiating this deep, profound peacefulness. Marco walks right up to him and quietly asks, "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?"
Section 3. The Full Glass Challenge. A deceptively simple task.
Hearing Marco's plea, the old psychologist slowly opens his eyes and gives him this really calm smile. Now, he doesn't offer a long, boring lecture or prescribe some complex mental exercise. Instead, he simply takes Marco into his little yard and introduces a totally unexpected intervention. The old man fills a glass with water up to the absolute brim. So the crucial point is the stakes here are instantly high, because the glass is so completely full that even a tiny little shake will make the water spill. He gives Marco the rules. Walk from here to the edge of the village and back. And the ultimate rule, do not spill a single drop of water. Surprised but eager to learn, Marco accepts.
Now you have to understand, this wasn't some peaceful garden stroll. Marco had to navigate pure chaos. The roads were narrow, they were crazy busy. People were walking, some were actively running right past him. Shopkeepers were loudly calling out to customers. Dogs were barking aggressively everywhere. And through all of this, he had to carefully hold this brim-filled glass, taking it step by precarious step, right through the middle of all that overwhelming noise and distraction.
Section 4. The Secret of Present Focus. The Psychological Reveal. Despite all the absolute chaos of the village, Marco's focus remained intense. His eyes stayed locked entirely on the glass. He walked slowly, carefully, step by step, and eventually returned to the old man to proudly announce that he hadn't spilled a single drop. The old man nods, smiles, and then poses a pretty surprising follow-up inquiry. He says, "That's good, but tell me, did you see the children playing on the side of the road? Did you hear the dogs barking?" I want you to just pause for a second and think about the deeper meaning behind this question. The old man isn't actually asking about the water anymore. He's asking about Marco's awareness of the chaos.
Marco looks totally surprised by the question and replies, "No, I didn't see or hear anything. I was only focusing on the glass. And boom, right there, the realization hits him. His intense, singular focus on the water had acted like a protective shield. It had entirely blocked out the bustling, noisy reality of the busy village around him. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the psychologist unpacks this secret for Marco. He explains that keeping the mind anchored in the now makes it exceptionally quiet. When your mind stays rooted in the present moment, there's literally no space left over for fear, confusion, or any of those extra nagging thoughts. By thinking only about the water, Marco's mind became beautifully clear.
Section 5. Finding Peace Within. The ultimate takeaway.
Marco realizes that by dedicating all his mental resources to the water, to the immediate physical task right in front of him, he had temporarily cured his mind. For the entire duration of that walk, he wasn't sad about his past, and he wasn't afraid of his future. Peace is not something we go out and find in the outside world. Peace is already inside us when we choose to live in the present moment. It was inside Marco the whole time. He just didn't know how to access it. Upon hearing this, Marco just bows his head. He finally understands the true mechanism of real peace. If he wants to calm his stormy mind, he just has to keep it anchored right here, in this exact moment.
Let's move to and see how this builds when we look at Marco's transformation over just a single day. The shift is honestly incredible. In the morning, he was this exhausted 24-year-old completely trapped in a mental storm. By the afternoon, he was engaged in this intense focus on a simple glass of water, and by sunset, as the last light touched the ground and birds flew back to their nests, Marco was walking home. But he wasn't the same restless young man anymore. He was fundamentally changed. He was peaceful inside because he finally possessed the tool to calm his own mind.
And that leaves us with this final vital question for you, the focused learner. What glass of water can you focus on today to calm your own stormy mind? What simple, present task can you pour all of your attention into to block out the noise of the past and the fear of the future? Think about that as you go through your day. Thank you so much for joining me for this explanation. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you on the next one.